Tigara. Hell yeah, Johnny, tigara. Basil's all like, back up, and I'm like, hell yeah. So finishing that climatic fight, that was the first round. If we knew that if we were able to go ahead and conquer that, right,
Yeah.
that boss, that demon, then the rest of the shoot is going to continue. Now, what we didn't know was that I thought what we were doing was we were working backwards. To me, the climatic fight, if you're looking at a video game, the climatic fight is the final boss. No,
Yeah.
it was level one because
Yeah.
everything
Oh.
we were doing after that, from a technical standpoint, we were it was a lot more difficult to accomplish. It was a lot more difficult from a technical standpoint, from the stunts that we were doing, from the kind of sequences we were creating for the movie. It just became more and more and more difficult. But because we already tackled the beast, for me overall, it was a 13-day shoot. The rest of the team, I believe, worked on it 18, 19 days. They had to set it up, reactions, this and that. Um, so when you accomplish something like that, when you know the ending of the movie is done and it's better than what you had envisioned, that's a very good thing. The last day of shoot, there's a video circulating, or if not, maybe I'll post it. But I just want to give thanks to Basil because he gave me credit. He said that we had expectations from Vlad, but he delivered beyond those expectations. And I got it. I also have to thank my stunt team for that. I have to thank Santosh. I have to thank Kalai, who happy birthday, Kalai. It's your birthday today. And then our wonderful, amazing double Balaji. And then our wonderful and amazing double Sefa, our German double. I had a really good, solid team that helped me go ahead and bring these ideas to life. And all the technical stuff, we were able to accomplish because we worked together so well. Santosh understood everything that it is I was asking for, because there's also that language barrier. That's where an opportunity can come about. I do action in a certain kind of a style, an Indian action. Like, realistically, we say masala action because Indian action, the majority of it is masala. So Westerners coming over, I think, is a wonderful thing because it's going to help evolve and it's going to help change the way action is viewed. Right now, we can go ahead and put more meaning, more content behind the action, not just people getting slapped and flipping around. And Santosh was able to understand my language, which was great. And Kale was the technical part of that. He was able to go ahead and help bring that to life. So again, I just had a solid team to be able to go ahead and bring these sequences to life, which was wonderful. So every time we finished a sequence, every time we were done with a location, it was always a memorable moment. It was always a memorable moment because we knew we put in all this hard work for something special, and that I'm making up a word here, but that specialness, right? That's something special that we were trying to create, was created.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was this video circulating where you said one shots back up, which Basil, I believe, posted, which was also actually celebrated on Instagram.
Yeah, if
Those
it's a
were,
shot at night, then yes, that was that same night that we finished the climatic
yeah.
fight. Back up, yeah, hell yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. I guess we'll also have to talk about the differences you mentioned about it. Like you've been part of both the Hollywood projects as well as back here in India. Irrespective of language, what are the major differences that you think? Okay, these are the major kind of differences based on the terrains. Particularly, as you mentioned, the styles are different. What are the other kinds of differences you faced?
Um, the biggest difference is the communication, right? I as a designer, as an action director, I need to know what people want. Like some of the opportunities, like I had mentioned earlier, were me giving Basil options for the action sequence, and then getting a curveball on the day. It's not like he was trying to screw with my head, but I'm certain as a director, Basil had his own thoughts Or maybe he was just trying to screw with my head, because I've come to understand and learn who Basil Joseph is. He, you know, and I mean it in the most loving way, but I call him the devil child, like that, because he's naughty. He's a naughty man, in the sense that he likes to play games and tricks on people and things like that. You know, he likes to mess with their heads. But I tell him, I said, I need you to tell me what it is that you want so I can prep for it the right way. So that way, number one, we're not wasting time on the day. And number two, we make sure that it fits the story and the narrative of what it is that we're trying to create. That's the most important thing. For the most part, it was a pretty smooth ride. But some of the bigger challenges were getting things that we needed to help set up some of the sequences. But again, those challenges came about because we were doing things that, number one, the art department had never done, you know, and because of that, because they've never done it, it took a lot of time. It took a lot of time to go ahead and piece things together and make sure that they work properly and get all the tools that we need. So at one point I really hated the art department, but I love them. I love them. Everybody worked their butts off. Everybody worked really, really hard to make it happen. But other than that, you know, in general, working in India, there's always an issue of time. You know, like there's a lot of procrastination going on, and then a lot of finger pointing. Like I know, this isn't my first rodeo. You know, I'm used to working in India, so I'm always trying to be as proactive as I can to make sure those things don't happen. So that way we move with ease and with flow. But other than that, for the most part, Minnal Murali was a nice, smooth ride all throughout. You know, it wasn't easy. Nothing's easy. If it's easy, that means it wasn't hard enough. You weren't creative enough. You know, you didn't work hard enough. You have to find a way to make it challenging. And everything we did was challenging. Everything we did was challenging, and it was worth it. I believe the payoff is a lot greater than the struggle that was had to make it.
Talking about Lucifer, it's one of my favorite. My personal favorite is your work in Lucifer. You've also worked in indie movies like Sultan Brothers, which is exceptional work. But my personal favorite is Lucifer. So my question is, like, you have been part of a number of major successful projects, like around the world, irrespective of language. How do you recognize how do you process these kind of recognition that you get through these works? How do you feel actually?
No, well, number one, that's a great question. How do I feel? I feel blessed to be a part of them. I think the reason the projects that I'm a part of are successful is because of the amount of dedication being put into them from all the departments. You know, there's a lot of love. For example, I say that Minnal Murali is the best production I've ever been a part of. Lucifer would be the second best production I've ever been a part of. It's the best production I've ever been a part of in the States. And the reason I say that is because when you go and sit down in the production meeting for Lucifer, you realize that it's one large family. It's a group of people talking about something they love doing. They love talking about this character and the scenes, and the ideas are flying back and forth. It's a whole collaborative effort, right? Anyone and everyone can pitch an idea, and we all try to make things work. So when people want to be somewhere, you feel the love, and I think that love transcends into the work, and you know, with that, the show gets the kind of love that was put into it. At least that's my philosophy and theory on it, right? If you give something your all with passion and everyone else does as well, it'll be good. And, you know, fortunately, that's been the case, because I've also been a part of some shows and movies that just were terrible, but then no one wanted to be there. Unfortunately, I worked on a show called Inhumans in Hawaii. And the first thing about the show, and I'm thinking, look at this beautiful island there. But as far as me being a part of this or being a part of that, I don't know who's watching over me. I don't know who's written out my outline, but I thank them very much because so far it's been quite the beautiful journeying experience. You know, maybe it's because of the amount of work I put in, right? On my own personal level, from an indie level, I'm all self-taught, and I said that I want to be the Quentin Tarantino of independent filmmaking when it comes to action, and sure enough, that's what happened. Hollywood came to me after content that I started to deliver online. And I still do that. I still go ahead and create my own content because that gives me the full freedom to do whatever it is that I want. I love working for other people, but what I've to learn is how to make products for the people and enjoy and love to make the products I'm making for someone else. How to share that love. But when you're talking about making your own thing, like having your own canvas, having your own paint, that's all you know. Uh, but again, I think either someone's watching over me or maybe it's all the energy I've put in. Because I say the amount of energy you put into your craft will put into you, right? Sometimes it takes longer for one person than it does for another person. Like I had a regular job for 14 years, and then action directing and working in the industry became a full-time career, right? Before that, it was a part-time career. Before that, it was me making a short film with like 17 cents in my bank account, right? The struggle of an artist. And I always tell people, you know,
Yeah.
you gotta keep struggling because those struggles will make you stronger. I like to let people know you should climb the ladder, right? You shouldn't jump
Yeah.
on top because the faster
Yeah.
you get up, the sooner you go down and the harder you fall. And the gradual incline of success will allow you to appreciate the success and the hard work. So as of right now, I'm very grateful. I'm in London right now, working on Gangs of London 2. I have no idea how the hell I got here. You know, sometimes I'm just like, I don't believe any of this is happening, but I'm here. So, but there, you know, in this industry, just like in the other industry, we have hopes, we have expectations, and the things we might think about don't come to fruition. Like you might think this is going to be the best experience ever, and then it turns out to be a crappy experience. But you have to learn how to take from that and make sure that the next experience isn't like the previous one. You got to learn from all the good, from all the bad, and you just got to keep going. So all these shows and movies and video games that I've been a part of, it's just different learning experiences. So that way, maybe when I'm 70, 80 years old, I know how to deal with all this nonsense by not having it even approach me. You know, just keep going up, up, up with all the good, like that. And that's it. Like there's so many things that have been spoken about for the future, projects that I can be a part of, and all I can say is I really hope that they all happen. I really hope that
Okay.
they all happen. I really want to be more involved in India. I really want to be more involved in Malayalam cinema. I loved working with the producers Kevin and Sophia because they gave me full control of the, you know, of the reign of the carriage, and you know, I took advantage of that, and I made sure that I delivered what I was hired to deliver. You know, a lot of expectations. I'd meet people all over Kerala, and they know me too because of Lucifer, right? Because
Yeah.
of my work on Lucifer. So the expectation level is just going up, 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 up,
Yeah,
up,
that's
up,
true.
up. Yeah. So I've always kept that in mind. Um, every time I hop on a project, I try to give it something new. I try to give it something unique. I try to, I want the professional world to know me just as well as the independent world does, right? Like,
Yeah.
I want my name to be a household name when it comes to action design, like Yun Wo Ping and things like that. I also have goals and dreams and aspirations, and I'm very lucky to be part of shows and movies that have done well, you know, and you know, maybe it's just a coincidence that we've been partnered up together, like myself and the producers of certain shows, or me and certain coordinators, or maybe you know, it was set in stone before my time. Like this is what's going to happen with Vlad, you know, and sure enough, the things that succeed, the style of action that I bring, or the style of action that the team that I work with brings, you know, it's all a collaborative effort. That only helps, right? with the success of the other movies like Sultan, right? Or Bahubali, that style of action only just helped with the narrative of the story when it came to the action sequences, with the character like
Yeah.
that. So I don't know how it happens, but I'm very thankful that it does.
Yeah.
And again, I really want to be a part of Indian cinema more because I believe in the preservation of action cinema. That's something that I think is slowly dying. A lot of performers nowadays or coordinators do it just for the money. Not a lot of people do it because they love to do it. You know, I tell people I play with real life action figures. Like Tovino Thomas is my GI Joe doll.
Oh.
Guru Somasundaram is my GI Joe doll. And I'm just going bang, 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 bang. Same thing on Lucifer. Like Tom Ellis he's my action figure. Tom Welling, Leslie Ann, she's my doll, my vicious
Oh.
animalistic
Yeah.
doll, like that. So I love what it is that I do. And I try to transcend that love through the final edit. That's all I can just keep doing. And because of that passion, I think the universe is partnering me up with the shows that have just as much passion that want to be created for that purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you might compare your work time with yourself. It's actually a playtime for you. You're actually playing with your dolls. The actors are actually working it out. That's actually a great example.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the funnest way to think about it because there are stunt teams out there and they say we're going to war. We went to battle, and it's like, who did you go to war with? With the
Yeah.
production?
Yeah.
Things like it's like we're not going to war. Any job that you do will be stressful. Even when you go ahead and if you're an artist, right, and you produce music or you paint, there's going to come a time when you're creating your masterpiece and you're going to become extremely frustrated because things aren't working out. Just like in any field, there is nothing that is perfect. And I think there has to be that balance. If things are always too good, then you won't go ahead and respect them. You won't cherish them. We need that off balance here and there. It's very, very important.
Yeah.
So that's the way I just look at things. So when we come back to this world, it's like we're playing in Fantasyland. The actors, you get to be someone else. And for the next 2.5 hours, someone else is sitting there and watching the story of how you go ahead and tell it through your character, through your acting. And then the way I tell it through my action design, the way Basil tells it through his directing, the way Samir Tahir shows it, through his cinematography, like that. We play in make-believe land, and it's one of the most beautifully disgusting industries that one can be a part of, the entertainment industry. But it can give you so much, and it can be so wonderful. And someone be having a crappy day, really bad day, and they go to the movie theater, they sit down, and for the next 2.5 hours, their worries are gone. And when they leave the theater, they have all these emotions running through them, excitement, now they're part of this world that they just saw. And that's what we want to do. That's the ultimate goal of anything that you make. You want the audience to respond. And I hope the audience responds with a lot of love, like that good feeling that makes you want to cry inside, or like the good crying and the excitement, the kind of feeling that will motivate people. I hope that motivates them to go ahead and pursue their dreams and their passions. I'm not saying leave your job. I'm saying you got to sit down and have a real life discussion with yourself, how you can make these things happen, right? And just keep working on it and keep working on it. And I hope it just makes them a better person in general. I hope it makes them want to be nicer to other people, just kinder, help someone out, do this, do that, help your fellow man. At the end of the day, we're all human, right? And seeing and reading the news in India, that's something that a lot of people are forgetting. We are all human. That's why I hope one day the aliens come and then we have to unite. I hope there's no intergalactic battle of any kind. But just so people know, hey, we are human. Like we are all one. It doesn't matter which part of the world you're from. You know, a man is a man. He's got his problems. A woman is a woman. She's going to irritate the man. The man's going to irritate the woman. You know, like yesterday, there was a parking issue. We couldn't leave for 7 minutes because some cab driver left his door open. So people are inconsiderate and considerate. People are jerks and they're extremely nice all over the world because we're human. And I think Minnal Murali is going to help bring and show the human side of us, like the innocent side of us, the good side.
Okay.
And that, and yeah, and that's in correlation, you know, to what it is I was talking about. Like we play Make Believe Land. That's something we just have to remember. Whatever job you're doing, at the end of the day, you're human. Your colleagues are human. Just, you know, have as much fun as you can. Enjoy it as much as you can. Give it as much love as you can. And if you hate it, figure out how the hell to get out of there and go do something else that you love. That's all.
Wow, it's a great philosophy. I mean, very respectable philosophy that it's actually inspired me. But on a lighter note, have you actually learned any Malayalam words being in a set for some time right now?
Katikara, 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 katikara. That's it.
Katikara. That is actually the video game.
Yes.
Where you shout through your microphone. Katikara. Do you actually know what that means?
Yes, it means fire.
Yeah, true, very true.
Yeah. So I was shouting that a significant amount of time during the finale. That's all I can say. There was a lot of fire going on, and I needed production to move. So I just start yelling because I'm like, Basil, how do I yell fire? Okay, katikara, katikara, katikara. Ah, you know, like I was a madman on set. I was a madman being slowly, but that's the only thing that I learned. But as far as like Malayalam cinema, the production taught me about Kerala, about the state it was, and the food that is there, and the amazing beef brisket that I had. Like I couldn't believe that the best beef brisket I had in my entire life was in India, in Kerala, you know?
Again,
because I know India in general, there are a lot of taboo subjects and topics, but Kerala is its own unique and individual state, you know, completely different from everyone else. Hell yeah, Kerala. So it wasn't so much this time about learning the language, but it was more about learning about the culture and the place that I would, you know, like to come back and frequent more often. And I will. I'm more than certain anytime I have any kind of a job, at least, you know, for a week, I'd want to come to Kerala and just relax.
Yeah. Now that there are wonderful places back here, you could shoot many of your fight sequences here in Kerala too.
I'd love to, yes. I'd love to. You know, working on Minnal Murali, I did 30 days in a row, and then I had a day off, which was really meeting some people. So it was kind of the day off. And then it was like another series of days. So we were working nonstop. You know, as soon as we'd finish, the next day travel. So one of the things you asked was, what were some memorable moments traveling? So I traveled with Basil, with Samir, and a friend of Samir's, Imtiaz Kadir, who's also a filmmaker. And our journeys from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, from Tamil Nadu to Kerala were some of the best. Going into Tamil Nadu, we saw wild elephants, wild boar, wild deer. You know, so these are things. Because on the way to our first location, Karnataka, I thought to myself, well, this is going to be the longest drive I have, right? Which is like a 4.5 hour drive from Bangalore. No, I thought because I thought we'd be flying from state to state. No, we were in cars, like 8-hour drives, and those drives help bond us together even more, and help understand who we are as individuals, who we are as creators, and because of that bonding, our relationship tightened, and I felt like we became even stronger as a force, when it came to filmmaking.
Seems like my expectations for this movie has increased like double, triple fold, I guess. But it was great pleasure to have a session with you, and I hope that all your future interviews continue to be at the top notch, and it inspires many more students as well as filmmakers, to venture into this action films and stuff. So thank you so much, sir, for your incredible time with us. It was a great opportunity that we had.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Kartikara.
Kartikara. Hell yeah, Johnny Kartikara.